Hey, shalom, good people of God, wherever your destination may be. God bless you. This is Word of Light once again for you. The Bible recalls Leviticus 19 downwards. The Bible warns us not to invoke the dead. Not to invoke the dead. Why is it that God is restraining us from invoking the dead? So now, is it possible that we can invoke the dead or we can talk to the dead? Is it possible? So, as the Bible made it clear that we should not, it does not mean that it's not possible. He said we should not. It does not mean that it's not possible. But the dangers or the reason behind why God is asking us not to do is this. Okay? God, who is all-knowing God, knows that there are familiar spirits around. So the mediums are the mediator of the familiar spirit. Okay, so now what is this familiar spirit? Every individual that is walking on this planet Earth, you have the Spirit of God that witnesses everything that you does, and you have a familiar spirit from the camp of the enemy that watches also everything that you does. Because remember, the Bible records that there will be a judgment. So the judgment will be in the lips of two people. Okay, and that is how come the Bible said, in the mouth of two, the truth is established, or a testimony is established. So now, the Spirit of the Lord and the familiar spirit. So now, anytime that you are being judged, the familiar spirit that knows your routine from the camp of the enemy will be there. It's like a vote when they are voting. Any time that they are voting, every party have their polling agent. So an agent from every party will be there to count the vote. So that is the duty of the familiar spirit. So now, when you die and then you are gone, the familiar spirit, their duty is to, maybe you used to be someone who kills. You used to be someone who raped children before you died. You used to be someone who drinks. You used to be someone who does a whole lot of stuff. So the familiar spirit, and then humans, we are asking ourselves, where do we go after death? We want to understand this. And then in the body of Christ, there is this message that has been championed, that there is heaven and hell. So now this message is winning souls. This message has been the reason why a lot of people are staying away from certain things or not sinning. So the devil also has also created their messages, okay, and then they are using the psychic. So now when someone dies, the psychic will give you the impression that they can invoke the dead. So now they will rather invoke the spirit, the familiar spirit. And the familiar spirit, as I said, everyone that is walking on this planet, there is a familiar spirit, and then there is a spirit of God. So in Job 1 verse 6, we can recall the familiar spirit, they know everything about you. So that is how come Satan said, because God has covered Job, God has protected Job, so they know everything. They know your ways. They know everything that you do. So when God asked Job, Satan, have you considered my servant Job? He said something like, you've given him everything. There is cover, this and that. Okay, so we need to understand it. So the familiar spirit, and then the spirit of God. Okay, so now when a person dies, the reason why God is asking us not to consult the dead is this: when a person dies, the people or the medium or the psychic, what they do is this: they know that there are two things that you are seeking to know. You want to know the person that is dead or the deceased. You want to know their living status, what they are going through, and then you want to confirm also that really is it true that they are hearing from them. So this psychic, they will tell you the things that the person did before died. They can tell you, because the familiar spirit will come and then feed them with accuracy. They will tell you things like, hey, I'm your mother, take care of the cat. I told you this uncle, change my bed sheet for me, do this for me, do that for me. And then you'll be like, wow, this is exactly what my mother told me. And then you'll be shocked. And then the psychic will ask you, do you want to know what your mother is doing now? And then the spirit will come, and then the psychic will tell you, your mother said she's okay where she is. Your father said she's okay where she is so nice, everything is beautiful, everything is nice. So you moving from the psychic, you feel like, so what are they preaching about heaven and earth? Because my mom is not a repentant Christian. My dad is not a repentant Christian. How come they consulted and they said they are doing good? That means I can live my life anyhow. If I die, I want to go to where my mother is. Okay? I want to go to where my mother is. That is how the psychic or the enemy succeed in luring the children of God to fall into that ditch in thinking that there is no judgment after hell. So that is how come God is warning us to restrain from consulting the dead, because you might not fall into someone who can do that thing. You will just go into someone that can invoke a familiar spirit. And then back to this issue, we have people also in Africa most of the time. When someone dies, they give them cutlass. That, hey, revenge. The person that kills you, revenge. Okay, they say a whole lot of stuff. Some they pour libation, they do everything. How true is that thing? Is that thing true? When we read our Bible very well about Cain and Abel. Okay, about Cain and Abel. When Cain killed Abel, did Cain took revenge? No. Cain was not able to take revenge, but rather God said the blood of Abel is crying for vengeance. That means the dead has no power. Okay, the dead has no power. Or it's an orchestration. Okay, orchestration of the familiar spirit that has been disturbing people, making you feel that you are talking to your loved one in order for you to be deceived. So sometimes, if your mother sees you around that place, they will be wondering, hey, my child, what are you doing there? They are deceiving you. Okay, so that is the reason why in Leviticus 19, the Bible warns us that we should not consult the dead. Okay, we should not consult the dead. So that is the reason why. God bless you. Ciao.